You are listening to the story on channel. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Nano Machine. Chapter 1, Prologue, Crucial Turning Point. A long time ago, martial artists of Jianghu used to learn martial arts for their own safety and protection against enemies. But as time passed, martial arts evolved to kill enemies more efficiently and it grew to be more sophisticated and complicated. The simple forms became a series of movements, and the breathing techniques represented the basics of internal energy. Martial artists left heirlooms to the future generations with books and teachings of what they learned, allowing martial arts to evolve. Martial artists were soon the ones who were more powerful than normal humans, as they could run through the trees like the wind, crush stones with their fists, and cut down trees the swing of a sword. They were soon called the people of Wulin. However, martial artists wanted to become more powerful and they gathered to form clans. Those who wanted justice and honor called themselves the force of justice, and the ones who did not care about using violence and cruelty were called the force of evil. And there were those who sought an entirely different route, seeking only strength. They were called the demonic cult. The current Wulin was in a tight competition between the three forces. South of Jianghu, there was a place called 10,000 Mountains. It was filled with tons of mountain peaks that spread vastly over the land, and this place was forbidden. It was because this place was the home of the demonic cult. In a deep forest far from the castle of the demonic cult, a boy who looked to be in his teens was running for his life. The boy was exhausted and heavily panting. His clothes were ripped and his face was full of bruises, showing that he had gone through a severe beating before he had escaped. Damn it! The boy spat, as he saw 5 masked men waiting to capture him. He had run so hard for the last 30 minutes, but it seemed he couldn't get away. F***ck. The boy held on his trembling legs and glared at masked men. Their faces were covered, but it was easy to see that they all were smirking. You did well in running all the way here, Prince Chun. Ha ha. I almost fell asleep while waiting for you. The boy frowned. If they had been waiting for him here, then there was no point for him to continue running in this direction. The masked men all pulled out their swords from their backs. Their eyes were filled with the intention to kill the boy. What should I do? It was his life that they wanted. It didn't seem like talking to them would work. He had used all of his internal energy to run here, so he had no energy left to run or fight. But even with his death waiting for him, his eyes were filled with anger rather than fear. Why? I gave up on joining the academy already. Why do you want to kill me? Prince, you surely know that all of that doesn't matter. The boy was at a loss for words. He had expected this day to come ever since he was very young, but he didn't expect it would come even before he joined the academy. As long as you have the right to the throne, it is your destiny. The other masked men began making comments also. Surrender, and we will make this quick. Even if you have peasant blood, we will not dishonor the blood of our Lord. The boy then became filled with anger. The word he hated the most were the words that insulted his mother. Damn bastards. If he was going to die anyway, he might as well try to fight back. He pulled out a dagger. He had never learned martial arts. However, all he knew was whatever he observed from watching his guard, warrior Jiang. A dagger? Did you learn something from Jiang? Sadly, he didn't. If he really did learn it, the skill would have been very useful here. Crude. But your blood speaks it for itself, that you do not cower away at your death. The masked men seemed to be very happy. It was better for them to kill someone who would not give up than someone who would beg. Kill him. One of the men gave the order and the other 4 attacked the boy at once. He thought he would hold them off for at least a bit, but that wasn't the case. Ha. Arg. One of the masked men used his sword hit to strike the boy's wrist and he dropped the dagger to the ground. His face grimaced and he glared at the masked man, but the man grabbed the boy's neck. Arg. Is it over? The boy's face turned red, but his eyes had not given up yet. At that moment, another man shouted, "Watch out!" What? The dagger. A dagger stabbed the man's chin. The boy had been hiding another dagger, and the attack killed the masked man at once. What? A mere boy without any martial arts training killed one of my fighters? The leader of the masked men who was watching became intrigued. It seemed like the boy was aiming for this from the beginning. Damn kid. Get him. Another man charged in and kicked the boy, swinging his sword down the boy's stomach. The boy had never felt such pain in his life. A searing pain shot up from his stomach and blood soared up from his throat. Damn it, so it didn't work twice. But killing at least one of them made him feel better. He was going to die anyway. Ah. The masked man stepped on the boy's punctured wound and the boy screamed in pain. The ground was drenched with blood. The man could have killed the boy at once, but he seemed to be giving the boy as much pain as possible. Slowly. I will give you a slow death. The leader didn't seem to like what was happening, but he couldn't stop him since it was for the revenge of his teammate. Suddenly, a bright light shined as if a lightning bolt had struck. When the light disappeared, the masked men's eyes turned in shock. What? Blood sprayed up like a fountain. The masked man who had been stomping on the boy had lost the entire top half of his body, where the blood was spurting upwards. What? The boy also was in shock. If he wasn't wrong, some white light streak had zapped the man and his body melted away. It's him. The leader pointed to a certain direction in shock, and there was a strange man with weird clothing. The man then disappeared. Huh? It wasn't through any movement skill. It was as if he had turned invisible so that he could not be seen. Another light then struck another man, killing him also. The only ones left were the leader and the remaining masked man. Someone is helping him. The white light. Is it a beam? If it wasn't an energy beam that was said to be used by highly skilled warriors, there wasn't anything like it that could instantly melt a human. The boy had lost a lot of blood, so he would die anyway. We did what we needed. We should retreat. The leader tried to send a signal for his man to fall back, but he was then struck with another streak of lightning and he disappeared also. Error. The man screamed in panic and tried to run, but he too was struck by the lightning. After all the men were killed, the boy smiled and chuckled. Ha, farewell bastards. Then, a strangely clothed man revealed himself in front of the boy. He wanted to scream in shock but he had no energy to do so. Whoa. So, my ancestor feels better even when you're about to die? Ancestor? The boy frowned, but he had no energy to speak and his body was growing cold. He had lost too much blood. Am I going to die now? That's when he heard a weird beeping sound. Then he saw something on the silver-clothed man's wrist and became shocked. I wanted to come earlier and teach you how to use it, but, oh well. The man took out two things from a small bag. One was a syringe. The boy was almost at the brink of death. I should hurry. The man then injected the syringe at the back of the boy's ear. He then brought up another syringe and stuck it in the boy's heart. It pains me just by looking at it. Anyway, hey, ancestor. The man called out to the boy, please make it right and make your descendants' life easy, okay? The nanomachine is the latest one there is, so it won't be too hard to use. What is he saying? And with that, the man disappeared. The boy then heard a strange sound in his ears. Serial number 03445325893. Activating the 7th generation Nanomachine of the Sky Corporation. Scanning the users. Physical data now scanning. Physical data now scanning. Weird words rang through the boy's ears and a weird light began glowing from his body. It felt like thousands of ants were crawling over his body and soon the sound came back. Scanning complete. Emergency. Emergency. Found a severe wound on the user's stomach. The blood loss is at 13%. Initiating blood injection and healing for life support, and the boy's body began to change. It was the beginning of his life's turning point. Nanomachine. Chapter 2, Machine descended to my body. 1. Prince Chun had been attacked by masked men and was killed by a sword to the stomach. Or so he thought. The guard, Zhang, ran as fast as he could with his movement skill to find Prince Chun. When he found the boy, the place was littered with dead bodies that were missing their upper torsos. Only one of the masked men's bodies was intact. But he had been killed with a dagger to his head. It's the dagger I gave to him. It was what Jiang had given to Prince Chun on his 10th birthday. He didn't teach him a single dagger skill since he was made to swear an oath to not teach any martial arts to the boy until he joined the demonic academy, so it was astonishing that the prince had killed even one man. Oh! Prince! Jiang then found the prince slumped down on the ground. The ground was drenched with blood, hinting of doom. Please! If the prince to die here, he wouldn't be able to find the right words to apologize to the boy's mother. However, something was weird. Huh? He heard the boy's breathing. From the looks of his clothing, it was certain that the prince had been struck with a sword to his stomach, but his breathing seemed to be normal. Jiang went up to him and picked up the clothes. Huh? There are no wounds. Prince Chun's stomach was clean of any wounds. It was weird since the ground nearby was full of Prince Chun's blood. What is it? Did the Lord? No. The Lord would not meddle with the fight for the throne, but who killed these men and saved the prince then? His mind was full of questions, but none could be answered. Jiang searched the area for a while and soon buried bodies and took up the prince on his shoulder. He then activated his movement skill to travel toward the demonic cult's castle. As Jiang's hand touched the boy, something in boy's head shocked him and deactivated his unconscious state. Self-healing mode paused at 80%. Master, wake up please. The boy's eyes opened in shock as he heard a voice ringing in his head. Huh? He had to have died from the severe blood loss, but he was alive and someone was carrying him on their shoulder. He looked down and that it was Jiang Gagang, his guard. Jiang! The boy's face brightened up and the cold mechanical voice came back again. Confirm target to be friendly. Deactivating automatic defensive mechanism. Reactivating self-healing mode. And with it, the severe headache struck the boy's head and he grabbed it with both hands. Prince! You're awake. Are you okay? Jiang smiled and asked excitedly. Prince? But the boy couldn't stand the headache and fell unconscious again. It was the next morning when he woke up from his sleep. His body was drenched with sweat. He realized that he was sweaty and he wiped his forehead with his palm. However, he realized that it was not sweat, but something sticky instead. What is this? Huh? He then saw the dark, black liquid on his palm and became shocked. It had a foul stench. Ooh! The smell was so bad and the liquid covered his entire body as if it had seeped out from his body. What is this? That's when the voice came to his head. Master! Are you awake? What? The voice repeated itself. Master! Are you awake? Who are you? The boy got up from the bed and glanced around, but he soon realized that the voice wasn't coming from outside. Master, please calm down. Is it coming from my head? That is correct, Master. What? He only thought the word and the voice seemed to have read his mind. The boy became nervous. Telepathic message? No, it's not that. Telepathy was a skill that highly trained martial artists used to send messages to others. He had heard one of those types of messages once a long time ago. The message was sent with internal energy, and that made it feel like a wave of energy. I am unsure of what this telepathic message is, but you are not listening to me through your ears, Master. What? Who are you? The boy looked up in the air with wide eyes. He thought if one could send a message directly through his head, the one would be very powerful being. I am the 7th generation Nano Machine, made by Sky Corporation to serve as a core to support Master's brain. Wait, what? What are you talking about? The boy became pale as what he was being told was beyond his comprehension. The Nano Machine realized that the user did not understand their words. Who are you and what do you want with me? Who are you, and what do you want with me? I am the 7th generation Nano Machine. Nano Machine, evil god? Yes. I am Nano Machine. The boy's face turned grim. The evil god was the being that the demonic cult worshipped. The Lord was the one who was given the power to communicate with the said god. Are you really the evil god? He was now kneeling on his knees, asking with a shaking voice. The Nano Machine had understood that the boy had gotten Everything completely wrong. Nano Machine. Chapter 3, Machine descended to my body, 2. The boy's name was Chun Yo-won. He was the member of the Chun family, the highest-ranked family in the demonic cult. The Chun family was related to the Great Lord himself, and everyone considered them to be extremely powerful. However, contrary to people's speculations, they were just a part of the 6 main families that maintained the demonic cult. Chun Yun was the son of a female slave who worked at the Lord's chamber and was not from the 6 families. Although he was the child of a slave, he was still part of the Chun family and he had the right to the throne. Nonetheless, he was not even close to having a chance at taking the throne. Then what made him fall encounter danger? The reason was with his mother, Lady Wa. The Lord, who did not like any of the 6 women from the 6 families, fell in love with a mere slave. This made the other wives angry and spiteful. Moreover, their fury didn't just end there. Chun Yo-won encountered multiple life threats throughout the 15 years of his life. He had no chance of succeeding the throne, but he was still wanted for his life due to the anger of the other wives. Since 7 days ago, the assassination attempts increased greatly. It was because it was now time for him to join the demonic academy, and that would test his right to succeed and earn the title to be the Lord's heir. If he joined the academy, he would learn martial arts and grow in power to have his own force. And the academy prohibited most outside entries, which would ensure his safety. That's why the assassination attempts happened so often. Did you save my life, God? Chun Yo-won asked the voice in his head while he laid flat on the ground. The Nano Machine answered, if it is about the enemy who tried to kill you, no. But if you are talking about Master's wound after going into self-healing mode, yes. What is a self-healing? Yo-won couldn't understand most of the words that the Nano Machine used. Nano Machine realized that they couldn't communicate like this, sending basic information to Master's brain. Huh? Nano Machine understood that it needed to find the right words for its master to understand. Searching for the right words for the era and culture, Nano Machine began searching through words and terms so that Chun Yo-won could understand. After a while, Nano Machine finished selecting the words to communicate. Master, I am not the evil god that you speak of. Chun Yo-won became surprised at the sudden change of tone, although it still sounded mechanical. What? Then who are you? I am trying to send you the basic information and manual about me to your brain. Will you accept? Nano Machine thought it would be easy to send the information instead of talking about it, and Chun Yo-won nodded without knowing what it was actually. Then, a video flashed in his brain at once. His eyes shook rapidly as he looked through multiple video images, and soon he felt dizzy. He bent over and kneeled down to the ground to vomit. It is a natural reaction after receiving information through your brain. You will not feel dizzy the second time around. Chun Yo-won recovered from the dizziness and got up. What is going on? It was hard to believe. He had not seen or been taught anything, but he now knew about the machine created with highly advanced technology installed in his brain. Nano Machine? Yes, Master. Is it true that thousands of machines are now embedded in my body? That is correct. 6,482,040,000 nanomachines have now been placed into your body. Chun Yo-won didn't feel good about having something weird in his body, but he now realized what he was dealing with was not a human nor a god, but a machine. He felt relaxed by the fact and asked, if I want, can you get out of my body? As you saw through the information that was sent, I am programmed to only be extracted outside the body in case you die. Therefore, the machine was bound to stay until Yo-won died. He couldn't understand why this had happened. Who put you into my? That's when someone knocked on the door to his room. Prince. Dr. Beck is here. It was Jang's voice. Yo-won wasn't sure about how he should explain the fact that he was talking with a machine, so he stuttered, stay quiet for a while. I can read your thoughts to communicate, Master. I get it. Just be quiet. Going into silent mode, Yo-won got back on the bed and laid down with the blanket over his body. The door opened and a middle-aged man, Jang, and an old man with long white hair came in. The prince seems to be asleep, so we will, huh? Prince. Jiang found Yuan looking at him from the bed and quickly ran up to him. Are you okay, Pr? He then placed his hand over his nose because of the terrible stench coming from the prince. What's going on? Yuan forgot what happened to his body because he had been talking to the nano machine. The black ooze that came out of his body was too terrible to smell. Dr. Beck then walked up with an interested look on his face. He was the designated doctor for the Lord of the Demonic Cult, and was nicknamed Demon Doctor in the cult. Prince Chun, we know each other, don't we? Of course, Doctor. There wasn't anyone in the cult that didn't know about the doctor. Also, Yuan had met him when his mother was sick. Give me your hand. Let me feel your pulse. That's. His hand was sticky from the ooze, so it was embarrassing to show it to him. The doctor said it was okay. He reached out so that Yuan could give him his hand. The doctor checked his pulse for a while and opened his eyes in astonishment. This is very interesting. What is it? Dr. Beck, did something happen to the prince? Jiang asked with a frown, but the doctor shook his head and smiled. No. This is very good actually. What are you talking about? The entire body has been cleansed of any dirty substances and his energy flow has been activated. Did he consume a special kind of medicine or something? Yuan was confused. You now have the perfect body to train in martial arts. What? Yuan then understood what the doctor said and became shocked. The black ooze that came out from his body was actually the dirty substances stuck inside his body. What was better was that his energy was now flowing, so he could now learn how to use his internal energy. Hey, Nano Machine. Did you do this? Deactivating silence mode. Yeah. Deactivated. Yes, Master. The nanomachines have extracted the unnecessary substances from your body and have reshaped the blood, muscles, and joints to best fit your body shape. Wow. Yuan assumed that it was probably because of the nano machine, but it was even more shocking to hear it from the nano machine itself. Are you really not a Marsin, evil god? I am a machine, not Marsin, Master. The nano machine answered with its mechanical voice. Nano Machine. Chapter 4, Why Memorize a Book? 1. Cheon Yuan was a boy, but he was not a fool. He had overcome many hardships and assassination attempts that made him stronger and smarter. He knew the importance of a weapon if he had one, and also knew he had to keep it a secret if he were to keep himself alive. I have to keep it secret that I have nano machine in me. Cheon Yuan wasn't aware of it, but there was no way that the medical knowledge of this era would be able to find the nano machine. However, Yuan did not know this, so he didn't feel good about letting Dr. Beck know, as he was from one of the 6 families, Dokmajong. I hope he doesn't catch on. He tried to hide it, but he became nervous. He was forbidden from learning any kind of martial arts before joining the academy. He did get help from someone. That's certain. The doctor was curious because of the change that had happened to the boy. He thought the boy would be pushed down the ranks with his weak body and no knowledge of martial arts. However, his state now proved that he was fit to learn martial arts better than any of the other princes from the other families. Nonetheless, he still was in a bad place to aim for the succession. The other princes already had started learning martial arts and had their own forces. He wasn't all that uninterested after all, it seems. The doctor assumed that the reason for this change was due to the Lord, Chun Yuzhong. He is his son after all. If the Lord had helped secretly, there was no need for him to acknowledge it. The doctor just wrote a prescription for some medicine to help Yuan regain his energy and returned. Prince Jiang. Yuan hadn't even thanked his guard yet. Nano Machine healed him, but if Jiang didn't come in time, who knew what would have happened next? Thank you for bringing me back to. Before Yuan can finish, Jiang coldly said, I'm sorry, Prince. You must wash up first. Right. It smelled terrible. The doctor called a slave to clean the bed and make preparations so that Yuan could wash up. While bathing in a hot bathtub, Yuan was filled with a strange sensation. Does the world want to change my fate? His fate had already been decided the moment he was born to a female slave. All that was left for his life was to survive without being killed. Hey, Nano Machine. Yes, Master. He had not talked to the Nano Machine for about an hour now. Nano Machine did not speak if he did not ask. You said you recovered me from my wound. How far can you do it? I can recover external or internal wounds quickly. But the loss of blood or a body part will require cell replication, which will require a longer time period. Oh. I see. The Nano Machine had given him a lot of information, but it was still hard to understand. At least it was certain that he could recover from most wounds unless he lost a body part or too much blood. Should I test it? I would not recommend hurting yourself, but if you want to try, I suggest testing it first with a small cut. Yuan then grabbed the dagger placed on his pile of clothing and cut his palm. Ouch! The pain made him frown, activating self-healing mode on the left palm. With the voice, the blood stopped flowing from his palm and soon the wound disappeared as if it hadn't been there at all. It's hard to believe, but it works. There was more that was hard to believe, which included the usage of the Nano Machine. Can I really use all the powers that I was given the knowledge of? Yes, Master. You can use every power of the Nano Machine as shown in the instructions. Good. I'll test it out after my bath. Yes, Master. Yuan then got out of the water and clenched his two fists. If he could utilize the power of the Nano Machine, he could rise up in power and get revenge on his enemies. At the south castle of the demonic cult was the house of Bokamjong. And next to its main building was a chamber for the heir candidate. In the front yard of the chamber, there was a teenage boy with freckles and a masked man kneeling down in front. It's funny. Do you think it even makes sense? The boy seemed to be very angry and he shouted angrily. The masked man couldn't even answer to quell his anger. I sent you all to kill one weak boy and 5 were killed instead. Prince Mukiam, I think some warrior helped him. How do you call my name? I am sorry, Prince Chun. Chun Mukiam was third in rank in succeeding the throne. He had sent assassins from his own Bokmajong family to kill Chun Yuan before he could join the academy, but it had failed. I thought he had nothing to help him, but it seems he had something up his sleeve then. It was unexpected. They made Yuan's guard stay away from him and attack the prince, but they had failed. It meant that someone else was also protecting him. Did father do something for him? That's what he had in his mind, but he couldn't say anything about the Lord either. The Lord of demonic cult was the divine being. Oh well. I'll take more chances after joining the academy. There was no protection given inside academy, as each of the princes who had guards appointed by the Lord himself weren't allowed to follow. I didn't want to do it myself, but I guess I have no choice. Nano Machine. Chapter 5, Why Memorize a Book? 2. The demonic cult, located in the 10,000 mountains. The cult had many families and clans, but it was mainly comprised of 6 clans: Wise, Sword, Loyal, Blade, Poison, and Lust. Clans. These 6 clans each had someone who could become the Lord. As per the oath, the Lord needed to marry women from all 6 clans and make babies who would all live with their mothers. Clans. The 6 sons would then join the demonic academy held once every 10 years to be trained. The academy was created to train the finest warriors of each generation, at least that's what it was known for officially. However, the academy was filled with the fiercest competition whenever the multiple princes or candidates to succeed the Lord joined. Inside the academy, the princes trained and made connections with other families and clans to increase their power. After claiming victory within the academy, he will become the heir to the throne. Yuan got out of the bath and looked at his body through the mirror as he dried himself off. His body was originally scrawny and weak, but now it was muscular and well-toned. Nano Machine. How is this possible? I have reconstructed your body, Master. Reconstruct. Creating something from nothing is hard, but reshaping your body and muscles is not as hard. Your speaking is so complicated. He had not learned martial arts yet, but he did not slack off in his studies. However, whatever words the Nano Machine used were those that he had not learned from any of his education sessions. Year-one put his clothes back on and went to his office. Your name is too long. Is there any other name I can call you with? You can set any name you'd like, Master. HM. I can't think of any, so I'll just call you Nano. Registering, Nano dash. I just gave you a name. How about you say thank you? Year-one joked about it, but there was no way a machine could understand a joke. Thank you, Master. Yeah. The Nanomachine was a machine and Year-one was now getting used to it. His office did not have many books. Most of them were related to his studies, and there weren't any books about martial arts. All he had were basic books about gaining internal energy, and that helped him very little. Bastards. This was the work of all the ladies from the 6 clans. It was those ladies who secretly poisoned his mother and made Year-one swear an oath that he would not learn any martial arts until he joined the academy in front of his dying mother. That's why Year-one could only study this basic internal energy book. Even this was only possible because the Lord himself had sent it to him secretly. If he didn't even learn this, his muscle and veins would have hardened, making it impossible to learn any martial arts even after joining the academy. The 6 clans knew that the training would not make any differences, so they did not care. Let's try it. Year-one took out a book from the shelves. It was a book about blood flow. What do I need to do? Look right into the book and go through each page until you reach the last one. Just flip through the pages? Yes. Please start. Year-one was not convinced, but he started flipping through pages. He then quickly reached the last page. He did not realize it, but his focus was shaking rapidly. I did it. Scan the book, blood passage. Attempting to send the information to the user's brain. Will you accept? Scan? Oh, you mean you copied what it means? Yes, Master. Will you accept? I accept. And the feeling that he felt when he received the Nanomachine's manual came back to him. His head felt as if a jolt of lightning had struck him, and the information swept into his brain. Year-one felt slightly dizzy and he held onto the bookshelf. It was much better than before, but he still felt like everything was spinning around him. Transfer complete. Ha, ha. You will get used to it, Master. Are you worried about me? I am just stating the fact. And as Nano said, the dizziness quickly disappeared. Is this over? Yes, Master. As you did with the manual, you can think about the related information to bring it up. Year-one then thought about blood flow, and information about the book that he hadn't even read came up to him naturally. What? Wow. It was hard to believe, but he had just crammed the entire book into his head without even reading it. He fully understood what it meant. There was an error in the book that was corrected before it was transferred. Error? What error? Information about the blood points were wrong, so it was amended. Information about the blood points were wrong, so it was amended. The nanomachine that was created in the distant future had embedded more precise information while scanning the book. This is crazy. Year-one thought this was amazing. He had to study and memorize books until now, but with this method, he didn't need to spend time on that anymore. I can just cram everything in. Year-one smiled excitedly. He didn't have that many books in his office, but it was going to be different once he entered the academy. Let's quickly grow stronger than everyone else and survive after joining the academy. That's the goal. He couldn't fight the war for the throne just yet. He needed to focus on surviving for now. Little did Chun Year-one know that the power of the nanomachine was not only limited to its information transfer,